We are not even halfway through the 2020s, and it's already been one of the most insane decades in professional wrestling history. Edge returned to pro wrestling after 9 years away and went on to go to AEW. The entire world was sent into lockdown, and WWE were forced to broadcast their shows from an empty performance center. Vince McMahon stepped down from WWE and Triple H took over creative. CM Punk went to AEW, then went on to get fired from AEW and come back to WWE for an extended run. Quite frankly, I could go on and on and on, but we're not quite here to talk about the wrestling today. We're here to talk about the action figures based off of the wrestling. This is going to be near all of my WWE Elite action figures based off of the 2020s, not made in the 2020s, based off of the 2020s. Anything 2020 to 2024, we're going to do it right now. There's a lot to go through. We're going to start off with 2020. And when I think of 2020 in terms of professional wrestling, one of the people I think of first is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, of course, innovating this very creative character known as the Fiend, which had a split personality, which was basically like a Mr. Rogers type kids TV show host. And he would then transition into the demonic Fiend to go up against WWE superstars. This was one of my favorite ideas that Bray Wyatt ever had. I think he absolutely nailed absolutely everything of this character, from the motions to the mannerisms to the appearance. He just nailed absolutely everything. And it just goes to show how amazing and how creative of a mind Bray Wyatt truly was. Miss Bray to this day, and I love the Fiend character. At Royal Rumble 2020, the number 21 spot in the men's Royal Rumble match featured the long-awaited return from retirement of Edge. We had Edge coming back at the Royal Rumble of 2020. One of my favorite returns in all of pro wrestling history. This was literally just so awesome. Just all that 9 years waiting for Edge, thinking he was never going to wrestle again. But here he was. He had dream matches. He faced Randy Orton. He faced Seth Rollins. He faced Roman Reigns. He faced Finn Balor. Edge's run was just absolutely amazing. And today he finds himself in AEW as Adam Copeland. He made the jump in September of 2023 and has been there ever since. But he was in WWE during the time of like 2020 to 2023, and that's what that figure's based off of. We got the master strategist, Sami Zayn. Not everybody's favorite character, but I feel like this worked. I feel like Sami Zayn was able to make it work. He was really funny in this role when it comes to like the conspiracy theory stuff. He was about to release his documentary that never got released, unfortunately. I would have liked to see it. But just like the conspiracy theorist character, planting the seeds for the honorary Uso when he was in Roman Reigns' locker room back in 2022. More on that later. But yes, Sami Zayn right there. I thought that was a good character. I think he pulled it off well. We got Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker. These two were a focal point of SmackDown during the Performance Center era. These two were always on TV every week, just like Mandy Rose. You can't have Otis from this time without Mandy Rose, of course. Their romance storyline was really funny, really entertaining, and got Otis like some more TV time, got him some more character, and that is strongly appreciated for Otis, and he became really popular during that time. It's just a shame, like the Money in the Bank briefcase, they weren't really able to capitalize on his popularity. He just lost the briefcase to The Miz after Tucker turned on him, and that never went anywhere. I was always just really frustrated by that storyline, but I guess it is what it is. At SummerSlam 2020, we saw the return of Roman Reigns, and this time around, he wasn't the cringy big dog saying suffer and succotash and all that. He was the no-nonsense heel head of the table, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. He came out with Paul Heyman at Payback 2020 of course, like signing the contract on the stage, beating Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman to go on his extremely long championship reign, which didn't end until 6 months ago, I think, when Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. His reign was absolutely amazing, highlighted with several great matches and fantastic storytelling involving the members of the Bloodline. Of course, Roman Reigns made his return at SummerSlam 2020. Also at SummerSlam 2020, we saw the in-ring debut of Dominic Mysterio as he took on Seth Rollins. I don't have the Dominic Mysterio based off of that match. They never made it. But they did make this absolutely beautiful Seth Rollins action figure based off of Halloween Havoc Rey Mysterio. Elite 67 gear. He was like mocking Rey Mysterio. Very, very cool figure. I like that one a lot. I wish he would have came with like a hair down head sculpt though. I feel like if they were doing interchangeable hair at that time, they really would have done something like that. Because like he was in a street fight against like Dominic Mysterio, he should have had like a hair down head sculpt. But that was kind of a bummer when that figure first came out. We got Damian Priest. This is early NXT Damian Priest with a purple pre-Judgment Day and the jacket and everything, the tights. I didn't see too much of Damian Priest when he was in NXT, but when he came up to the main roster, I was a fan of him. I was a fan of his partnership with Bad Bunny. I thought his storyline with The Miz and John Morrison was really funny. Just not so funny was the Zombies thing at WrestleMania Backlash. That was quite stupid, but that was kind of like they were just experimenting with stuff because that was like the pandemic, like coronavirus era. They were just experimenting with different stuff, not having fans in attendance. And I guess that can be forgiven, even if it did make for some dumb stuff. But just trying something new, that's something that should always be appreciated. Someone whose stock really fell in the 2020s was Jeff Hardy. I will always love Jeff Hardy. I'm a massive Jeff Hardy fan. Nothing will ever change my love for Jeff Hardy as a pro wrestler. But I feel like during this time, he was just really like relegated to the bottom of the card. He was really like a jobber, just always losing to people, always on main event. Remember that match on main event he had with Ricochet? I still can't believe they put that on main event. And I remember it was actually a really good match, Jeff Hardy and Ricochet. But Jeff Hardy, his final few years in WWE weren't the best. He didn't have Matt by his side. He was kind of just lingering around, not really with anything to do. And of course, he made the jump to AEW. That didn't really work out for him. He left the company. He now finds himself in TNA, which I think is the best option for him right now. I just hope possibly someday that WWE can re-sign him and Matt. They said they'd like to finish their careers in WWE, and I think that would be a really cool thing to happen. At TLC 2020, we saw the Firefly Inferno match between Randy Orton and this man, the Fiend Bray Wyatt. He was burnt to a crisp to close out the show, and then they were teasing for the next few months that like he could come back. He could come back to just get Randy Orton, extract his revenge on Randy Orton at Fastlane 2021 during that really dumb match between Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss. WWE during this time, I hate to say it, it was kind of dumb. Just like I don't know, just like all that stuff. I said earlier that they could be forgiven for experimenting with different stuff, but just some of it did not work. Kind of like the stuff with Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton, the supernatural stuff. But we did see the Fiend come back as the Burnt Fiend, which was pretty awesome. Absolutely burnt to a crisp from head to toe. This figure is awesome. This figure came out in Elite 92. Super duper underrated figure, and the double jointed elbows allow you to put the hands up to the ears like the Fiend used to do. That is a very cool figure. I like that one a lot. And while we're on the topic of Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, I want to bring out Alexa Bliss right here. This is the Elite 97 Alexa Bliss. She came with the Lily doll, which you can actually remove the head of, like Charlotte Flair when she destroyed the Lily doll. But this Alexa Bliss figure itself is absolutely awesome. I think they absolutely nailed this one. I just don't like the basic kick pads. That's kind of annoying for the women's figures that they're just now starting to rectify, if I'm being totally honest. But I got the blue and black Alexa Bliss gear. Looks really, really awesome. I'm a really big fan of that figure. In 2021, WWE decided to pair Randy Orton and Riddle together as a tag team. They would be known as RK Bro and would be a successful tag team, winning the Raw Tag Team Championships on 2 occasions. I was a big fan of this team when they were like active. I actually got to see them in person when I went to Raw that one time. It was like a dark match. They teamed with Drew McIntyre to take on the Usos and Seth Rollins. It was absolutely lit. But like just looking back, I feel like they could have been doing more with Randy Orton instead of like having him team with Riddle. It was far from the worst thing they could be having doing. I mean, I thought it was pretty entertaining. But as far as just like Randy Orton during that time, he could have been fighting for world titles. He could have been fighting Roman Reigns. He could have been fighting. I think Bobby Lashley was the champion during that time. He could have been fighting them. He was just stuck in a team with Riddle. That was kind of unfortunate at the time. We got Drew McIntyre, my current favorite wrestler, back when he was a babyface. He had the sword and the kilt. This is the Elite 89 Drew. Really good figure. Really captures Drew McIntyre. Even to this day, this is the Drew that I use. And I don't think I'm going to be getting a new one because he's got like the double jointed arms and everything. And a lot of the Drew figures are very similar. But you got Drew McIntyre. Of course, that is based off of when he had the kilt and the sword that was given to him by Sheamus, who I will be showcasing Sheamus' figure pretty soon here. At Money in the Bank 2021, we had John Cena. He went on his little run in 2021 to face Roman Reigns. He worked several house show matches and dark matches as well. But yes, John Cena. He was. I don't think anybody was really convinced that he would beat Roman Reigns because he immediately went back to Hollywood after. But it was a really good match at SummerSlam 2021. Definitely had my attention. And John Cena, it's always cool to see him. It's always cool to see him giving back to the business that made him so famous. It's always cool that he still thinks of the WWE as his home, even if he's not there as much anymore. But he still loves the WWE, and that is always appreciated. If someone loves the business, I will automatically love them because I love wrestling. But yes, John Cena, I'll be very gutted when he has his final run in 2025. Here are the Usos. Got the SummerSlam 2021 top picks. Jimmy Uso, and then SummerSlam Elite Jey Uso, who I have yet to get in the frame, but I need to put the belt in his hand. There we go. And it just fell out. But Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, I love the Usos. I'm a massive Usos fan. Just like the Hardy Boys, like the Usos and the Hardy Boys are like my two GOAT tag teams, and neither of them are standing right now. But Jimmy and Jey Uso, the bloodline was absolutely peak when the Usos were together. So much good storytelling with family. Like, you couldn't get any better than the bloodline story in the 2020s. It was just absolutely amazing. It's not. I still enjoy the bloodline story, but I feel like it's kind of cooled off a little bit ever since. Like, I feel like I've yet to mention this, but I think the Usos reunion with Roman Reigns was a little rushed. Originally, I was like, oh yeah, Usos, oh yeah, Roman Reigns, but like, dude, I feel like that was just really random for like Jay to just get back with the family. I feel like they could have let that play out a little more. I guess that is what it is. And you can't have the Usos without the Tribal Chief, the OTC Roman Reigns. This is the Ultimate Edition Roman Reigns. First one that they did, not as good as the second one in my opinion, but this is probably the figure I'm going to be sticking with. You got Roman with the Tribal Chief necklace, the Ulafala, and then the red gauntlet on the fist. It was around 2021 that he debuted this in the midst of his Universal Championship run, and at WrestleMania 38, he would defeat Brock Lesnar and would go on to unify both WWE and Universal Championships. Speaking of Brock Lesnar, here is Brock Lesnar. You got Brock Lesnar. This was his return. So SummerSlam 2021 return run. That was like the big return of 2021. Brock Lesnar wreaking havoc against the Bloodline. Got him in his wrestling gear, Elite 96, and then you got him in his promo Cowboy Farmer Brock gear, Tribal Chief versus Beast 3-pack Lesnar. But yes, both those figures are very cool. And Brock Lesnar during that time, there was no touching him. It was just like such a cool character, just so fresh. Seeing Brock Lesnar talk without the assistance of anybody. It was like really funny, just like Brock. It was perfect. He could like mix comedy in with seriousness like he always had, and I just thought that was really, really cool when he debuted that. Here's Rick Boogs. You got Rick Boogs. This was the dude that played out Shinsuke Nakamura to his entrance theme song. I don't have the Nakamura that goes with this, but Rick Boogs, this is part of Elite 98. He's got the electric guitar, which breaks in half. That's why it took me a little bit to get him in the frame, because the guitar had snapped. Had to put it back together. But yes, Rick Boogs, I feel like he was sort of wasted potential. I think they could have done a little more with the Rick Boogs because he had all the tools. He was funny, he was charismatic, he was jacked, he was strong, he could lift up anybody. I just feel like his quad tear at WrestleMania 38 really like threw everything off for him, and I found that really unfortunate because I thought Boogs was really good. I thought like his charisma warranted a top spot in WWE, but that's not really how it materialized, and he sort of got released in 2023. Here's Happy Corbin. Speaking of somebody who got released, Baron Corbin got his contract is like he was told he wasn't going to be renewing his contract, like WWE wasn't going to renew it. So I guess that's a little different from being released, but I'm pretty bummed about Baron Corbin. Like all the gimmicks he ever had, he put 110% into. Right, he was like the Lone Wolf, Sad Corbin, Happy Corbin, modern day wrestling god Corbin. Anything that he did, he just put 110% into it, and he was a really safe worker, according to a lot of wrestlers. He'd be sure to handle people with extra safety and precision when they're inside the ring, and that's what made him really respected during his time. But yes, Baron Corbin is no longer in WWE. That's really unfortunate. Here's the original formation of the Brawling Brutes. You got Ridge Holland when he was called up from NXT in 2021. He teamed with Sheamus, and Brawling Brutes was pretty good. I feel like their constant losses kind of hindered everybody, including Sheamus. And these figures aren't going to stand, so we're just going to put them back here. But yes, Sheamus and Ridge Holland, they both got their cloth jackets going on, looking really cool. Elite 97 Sheamus, and then our Royal Rumble 2024 Elite Ridge Holland. Took me a second to think of that. But yes, you will see Butch later on. I'm going to be showing Butch a little later. Got King Xavier Woods when he won the King of the Ring tournament, and you can't have Xavier Woods without Big E. Got a peak singles career Xavier Woods, peak singles career Big E. I thought Big E had a solid run as a WWE champion. It really caught me by surprise, like, oh my gosh, Big E's the champion. Because like he had always been like that tag team guy, and it felt really sudden that he would just be suddenly a world champion. But I thought he had a fun run. He defeated people like Drew McIntyre and Austin Theory. We got Braun Breaker. This is the NXT Braun Breaker with the pink singlet, Rick Steiner inspired gear, of course, his father, and this is when he was NXT champion. That he was like the face of the new NXT 2.0, and I 100% think that he was the right choice. I love Braun Breaker. These days, he's on the main roster. He's the current Intercontinental Champion, which is very cool. At WrestleMania 38, Kevin Owens was set to interview Stone Cold Steve Austin on an edition of the KO Show, and he decided to mock him on an edition of Monday Night Raw by dressing as him, playing Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme song, and getting the crowd thinking like, oh my gosh, here comes Stone Cold Steve Austin, but it ain't. It's Stone Cold Kevin Owens. He's got the bald cap, which is really cool, really realistic on this head sculpt, and he's got the screaming facial expression. Also 316 shirt, and he does have the WrestleMania 38 shirt under there, if you are wondering. This is such a fun figure, such a fun moment. I wish he would have came with jorts, but that's besides the point. Here's WrestleMania 38 AJ Styles. This is the Ultimate Edition AJ Styles Wave 16. This is such a fantastic figure. He faced Edge at WrestleMania 38. Just look at this gear, man. White, light blue gear, just all that pattern. One of my favorite gears AJ Styles has ever worn. And I think AJ Styles is in Elite 116, so I'm excited to see what attire they're going to go for there for a new AJ. Before WrestleMania 38, when he faced AJ Styles, Edge formed a new faction known as the Judgment Day. So WrestleMania 38, he had Damian Priest come into the fold. WrestleMania Backlash, he had Rhea Ripley come into the fold. So this is like basically the Terror Twins these days, but like back in those times, like early Judgment Day, these were the lone two members along with Edge. You got Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, Edge's first two stablemates. And after Hell in a Cell 2022, they're on the Raw after Hell in a Cell 2022. We had Finn Balor coming out, and he's like, I'm gonna join the Judgment Day. Damian Priest said we need to eliminate the problem that is Edge. So they took out Edge, they took him out of the group, they kicked him out. Finn Balor would replace him as the leader. And of course, at Clash at the Castle 2022, we had Dominic Mysterio turn on his father Ray and join the Judgment Day on the next episode of Monday Night Raw. So you got Dom, Finn, Rhea, Damian, peak form of Judgment Day in my opinion. Here's Mr. A-Town Down, Austin Theory, the man that Vince McMahon handpicked to be the new face of WWE. And I definitely think Theory has the tools to be the face of WWE. It's just that his stock has somewhat fallen in recent like the last year, I would say. Like he started teaming with Grayson Waller, and hopefully he can turn face pretty soon. But like him and Waller barely get like TV time, so I don't really like they haven't really been showing as many signs that Theory could turn on Waller or Waller could turn on Theory or anything like that. But I do hope they can do that angle soon. Here's Gunther. Got the Elite 102 Gunther. This is such a fantastic figure. Red robe, red trunks, and then half black on the back. This was like his early main roster form. He didn't even have the Intercontinental Championship yet. This was like his early main roster, Gunther. And he was just decimating everybody, decimating all the jobbers every week on SmackDown. And of course, he ended up beating Ricochet, which I actually have the figure right here. Might as well show it. Ricochet he defeated Ricochet and became the Intercontinental Champion. Went on his record-setting reign, which was ended by Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 40. At WrestleMania 38, we saw the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, return to WWE, a founding member of AEW. He came back to WWE. The prodigal son returns. He went on to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 and is the current undisputed Universal Champion. But he definitely had an uphill battle to get where he is today, mostly because of one man who could not stop haunting Cody Rhodes during his initial 2022 run. Seth freaking Rollins. I absolutely love showing these figures. The Cody is my favorite figure in my collection, if you are wondering. Torn Pec, ringside exclusive defining moments. The Seth is really good too. I absolutely love these figures, and we're going to keep them in the frame. That's based off of Hell in a Cell 2022. My favorite match of all time, if you didn't know. Here is Damage Control, Io Sky, Bayley, and Dakota Kai. I was always a big Damage Control fan, and I feel like they were really underused. I think Dakota Kai and Io could go on like a singles run, possibly, because like they're really good singles talents. So I think they could like break away from Damage Control. Maybe once Dakota Kai comes back, she can like break away and like have her own run. Because she has all the tools. She has the mic skills. She has the ring skills. I'm a massive Dakota Kai fan, and I definitely think that she could pull that. I moved the camera a little bit so you can get the look of how all these figures look in the ring without like having them all up in your face. But here's Johnny Gargano. This is his return gear. He returned on Monday Night Raw in I believe October. That could be as either September or October. He was one of Triple H's first rehires, along with people like Dakota Kai. But yes, Johnny Gargano, that's a really cool figure, part of Elite 105. The Triple H era changed a lot of things in WWE, including the landscape of the Bloodline. You got Solo Sikoa. He debuted at Clash at the Castle when he screwed over Drew McIntyre against Roman Reigns. But yes, Solo Sikoa. This is War Games gear. He acted as the Bloodline's enforcer. Not as good of an enforcer as Jacob Fatu, in my opinion, but still Solo. He definitely added quite a bit to the Bloodline. The silent enforcer with the Samoan Spike, the deadly Samoan Spike that put down so many opponents. And he was like the dude who would like go up against all Roman Reigns' opponents before they had the big like title matches against him. And most of the time he did lose, which kind of hurt his credibility a little bit. But these days he's the Tribal Chief, so you can't have much more credibility than that. He just pinned Roman Reigns. Elite 104, AJ Styles. This is based off of his OC run, like his newer age OC run. Man, they could be like getting Gallows and Anderson on TV. I really wish they'd be doing that. Cause like, dude, you literally have the club, you literally have the OC on your roster, and none of them are on TV. It's like, what? I know AJ Styles is injured, but like seriously, like that's like having I don't know, that's like having DX on your roster in the 9. I wouldn't go that far. But like having the club on your roster, just not using them, especially not together, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Chelsea Green, definitely one of the more forgotten returns. Even though she's like on TV recently, but people tend to forget that she returned in the Royal Rumble of 2023. Women's Royal Rumble, she immediately got eliminated by Rhea Ripley, and then started going on like her Karen phase, which she's still on today. Chelsea Green, one of the most entertaining acts in WWE, in my opinion, along with Piper Niven, and that is a super cool figure, too. I said when I was talking about the master strategist Sami Zayn that we would talk about the honorary Uce later, and this figure in particular is not the honorary Uce, but this is like after he left the Bloodline, he was out of the Bloodline. He was Sami Zayn once again facing Roman Reigns at the 2023 Elimination Chamber in his hometown of Toronto, Canada. You got Sami Zayn right there, Elite 106 Sami. WrestleMania 39, what a banger show this was. One of those matches on the show, you had Seth Rollins taking on Logan Paul. A match that was as good as you'd expect from these two. A lot of high-flying action, a lot of really cool moves in this match, and Logan Paul's gear was especially awesome. This figure itself, it is missing some things. Like, he had a logo on the headband, that's missing. He had a logo on the knee pad, that's missing. He had wrist tape, that's missing. And I just started like noticing that recently, so that's kind of bums that figure. But it's still a really, really good figure of Logan Paul. That's definitely one I would recommend if you can't get the Ultimate Edition. LWO, Rey Mysterio. This was the top picks, Rey Mysterio, when he, along with Zelina Vega, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Santos Escobar, reformed the LWO in 2023. That went on to bring in Carlito into the group, and later Dragon Lee, after Santos Escobar was removed from the group. He turned on him and everything. Rey brought in Dragon Lee. I like the LWO. I just think like they lose too much, similar to like a Brawling Brutes situation where that could like hurt their credibility. Speaking of the Brawling Brutes, here's Butch. Yeah, in 2022 they made the decision to call Pete Dunne up to the main roster, and a lot of people were really happy. Then they introduced the Butch character, and not a lot of people were very happy about it. I still think it wasn't the worst idea for Pete Dunne. It was pretty funny at times with Butch, and then Sheamus, and I feel like he started to like get a little more serious as time went on, which made him less of the savage person, more just like wrestling like technical based as time went on. So that slowly planted the seeds for an eventual Pete Dunne return. Just a few more to go through. Here's Pretty Deadly from Elite Series 110. This is their early SmackDown run, and I feel like these figures are very, very cool, especially with the cloth, like shirts, like the top shirts that they wear. Very, very cool, and I think Pretty Deadly are a really funny tag team. Not a team that will be taken like super seriously, but I think they're funny enough to at least have like one tag team championship run. I definitely think they should do that. I've been starting to push for that a little more recently. At having Pretty Deadly as tag team champions, I feel like they'd be really, really funny. But their role is firmly in a comedic act. That's kind of unfortunate. You got Seth freaking Rollins, the inaugural 2023 World Heavyweight Champion, like New Age World Heavyweight Champion. This figure comes with the championship with the Seth Rollins side plates, Elite 109 Seth. Fully gold attire based off Money in the Bank 2023 when he faced Finn Balor. A lot of people say like, oh, Seth's reign was mid as world champion, but I still think it wasn't the worst. He had a lot of good matches, a lot of good opponents. Like Finn Balor, I especially liked that story. I thought they had a little too many matches against each other, but I still think like the dynamic of Finn like trying to get revenge for Seth, costing him the world championship. I thought that was really, really cool. And the last figure we will be showing today, last but not least, JD McDonough. This is the Elite 112 JD McDonough, and of course he started entering into the Judgment Day storyline upon his main roster call up, and has been in I wouldn't say honorary member of the Judgment Day, but he hangs around. He's got like the tag team championship and everything, which is pretty cool. But yes, JD McDonough. But yes, that has been the Jed Wrestling 2020's action figure collection. Nearly every figure I have based off of 2020 to 2024, except like I don't have like any 2024 figures inherently, because like obviously that's the year we're still in, so there's not going to be as many figures from that time period. But I've got quite a few 2023 figures, 2022, 2021, all like 2020, all of that. This is a really fun video to make, and I hope you have a lot of fun watching it. But yes, Jed Wrestling out.